Cedars Road.
And again, this was all farmland back when you were young, Dad. All of this around here was farmland, right?
This is all farmland, no houses.
And who lived around here?
This was the Stanley Franz farm. The barn, they ripped down the barn and the sheds across the street.
And we're coming up to...
This is the barn where I was raised. I lived here 17 years. This was the Schneck farm. This was my grandfather's farm before that.
We're going to pull off in here. What do you think, Dad?
Well, it's going to be surprising to see how the old barn looks.
Yeah, when was the last time you were in this barn?
Oh my word. Probably when I was 22.
So, 1953?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, this is your dad's barn.
This is my dad's barn.
Built in the 30s, mid-30s, right? Like 35?
Yeah, around 35.
Okay, and now it's Emery Landscaping. Are you Jane?
I am Jane.
Oh.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
I understand you're Tim's wife.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Do you mind being on the video?
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
This is Paul
hi.
Schneck, my dad.
Hi, you're in my barn.
Yes, I know. I
You
heard all
about
about this.
He's 91 years old,
How
and
about
his
that?
father owned a 50-acre farm, this 50-acre farm. It was in the Schneck family for 3 generations. So his grandfather, Edwin, well, actually, I believe David bought it.
I'm not sure.
And
I
then
remember
Edwin had it, and then your father
My
got
father
it.
had it.
But he was living here in the 1930s and 40s, back when they had horses. So it was the transition between
Oh.
horse-drawn equipment and
Okay.
tractors.
So
And-
there was horses in here?
That's
Yes.
the one in the bottom.
On the bottom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Horses
Yeah.
and cows.
And cows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my.
And did you live in the house across the street?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the log house. It was a log house.
It
Do you
wasn't
remember?
a log when we bought it, but so it was a
Oh.
log.
How
They
about that?
probably did something over the top,
Oh, yeah, you could. We
like
didn't know it was
stucco or
log.
something.
It was
yeah.
siding.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
Siding.
siding. So we didn't
That's
know
what it was. That's what it was.
We knew it was the floors were crooked. We could sit on a roller skate and come downhill in the kitchen. They had to straighten out the floors.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, it was built in the 1700s, and it was disassembled by Ken Muth, and he took it down to Orfield, where he lives, and he attached it to his barn and restored it back to a 1.5-story
So I
German
The
log
house?
house. Yes,
I
the
live
house.
a half a mile from my old
Yes.
house that was sitting here.
I will send you
in
the link when I
Orfield.
make this video, and then you'll be
Wow,
able to
that'd be
see what the house
great.
looks like. But do you remember when it was across the street? 'Cause-
Yes.
Oh, do you?
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we bought it, it was across the street.
Oh,
How about that?
it's the
So
Schneck
good.
barn.
Yeah. So
Well,
let's
let's go.
check it out. Now, be careful though. I mean, there's the floor.
Oh, we'll be careful.
You know. Well, you know the barn.
I
but
know the barn pretty.
Since then, maybe it was a little.
I think it changed a lot.
Yeah, because we, running this landscape company.
Well, I
and-
hope we don't take up too much of your time.
No, I don't mind doing this. I love doing this kind of stuff. But here's, this is the part you probably remember the most.
Oh, yeah.
It used to have that hanging hook. What do you use that
Yep. Okay. Is the hanging hook up there
for?
yet?
No, we took it down.
Well,
What was that for?
that was, they had the track. The track was from here over.
For what, bales of hay?
Well, what happened was,
Careful.
when we
Oh,
make
yeah.
when we make hay,
Mm-hmm.
we would fork it on a hay wagon,
Yeah.
and then we back the wagon in here, and the horse we have the horses hooked up to a rope and pulleys and rope, and it pulled that claw thing.
Oh, yeah?
It would come down, and we'd hook it in a whole pile of hay, and then when the horses pull it out, it would go up, hit the thing up there, and then bing, it would go over that way. And then
Get
from
the
here, my
heck
dad
out.
would pull the rope, and it would pop it open and drop it in the hay mound.
So
We-
where was the hay mat? Like there was a second
In
level
other words,
up here?
this was the wall here. So this whole side was for the hay.
This
That
was-
side was for the straw. when we would have a man come here with his threshing machine, we would thresh the wheat and shoot the straw in there, and I'd have to be up there with a fork to straighten it out and spread the piles to pile it, because it piled up high. The hay and the straw, they just piled.
Pardon my ignorance, Dad. What is the difference between hay and straw?
Well, straw is when you that's from the wheat.
You harvest the
The
wheat?
hay is from the grass, the alfalfa or clover that you.
So what do you feed the animals with? Hay or straw? Hay.
The straw is for bedding,
Bedding, okay. Straw
and
is
the
for
hay they
bedding.
would eat.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would have to fork it and take it, throw it down the stairs here. Are the stairs still in there?
That's where the animals are.
Yeah, we threw it down the stairs, and then from there, I would feed the horses and the cows. The horses were over that side, and the cows were over this side. We had usually
You
three
mean
cows.
downstairs they
Downstairs.
were? Downstairs.
Yeah. I
So-
can't open the door, but
Yeah, there were stairs there. That's where I threw the hay down.
we actually have someone that rents the apartment down there. We made an apartment down
Oh,
Oh,
you
really?
do?
there. Yeah, so that is now a place for a single man who
Huh.
used to go to our church, and he's on missions right now. That's
Oh,
where
really?
he is.
Oh,
He's
we can't go
in
down there then.
Arizona.
No.
He's locked. I don't think my husband has the key. I don't know.
But yeah, we
So
would
interesting.
cut the hay and let it dry.
Mhm.
You know, and then with the horses, we'd pull a hay rake. It raked it on piles.
Oh.
Then later on, we have to come with a fork it up under the hay wagon,
Yeah.
and then bring it in here and get that hook to lift it up.
So that's.
But it
what
was
that
amazing. The horses, we hooked two horses up to this somehow the rope. You know, it pulled this rope, and there were pulleys all around here, and it would take this big fork, and it was and it was heavy.
Yeah.
The horses had sometimes one horse could pull it, but usually he'd put two horses, and later on the tractor.
Were they the big horses?
But
the
it was,
draft horses?
they'd walk out that way.
So
and
they
it
would go backwards? The horse would go
No,
backwards?
they would go forwards.
They'd
They
go-
would go forwards, and then he'd back them up here to take the next
So
pile.
that was used to pull it up
It
and
was used to
over
pull it up,
and over.
and when it somehow when it hit that certain point up there, it had to hit it nice and sharp, and then from there it would go over the track,
I see.
and then he'd stand here with the rope and pull it to release it.
Okay. And it dropped. Did it
And
drop it to the floor or?
It dropped it, and well, but this would pile up real high.
Oh my! So you mean all of
Oh
this would
yeah,
be
it
piled
piled
up?
up way high. Same with the straw. The straw would be way up.
Oh, wow.
Oh my word, yeah.
So there was no second story here,
Oh no, there's no second story.
and it was.
It would just gradually fill up higher and higher, and you just climb up that ladder to whatever level it was.
So
It could be up to that.
come in here with me, like. It would be up to where would it go up to
Well, it
where the
depends how
ladder
big the
was?
top was, but
Is
it
that
would
a-
go up pretty high.
Is that a ladder up there?
Yeah.
Did you go up that
Oh yeah,
high?
I went up that already.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did.
I used to go up there and look up.
And were these stairs here?
No, those stairs weren't
Those
there.
stairs are new.
The stairs were over here further.
But you climbed up this ladder here in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And why would you climb up there?
To get to the top of the pile.
What would you do at the top of the pile?
We'll go up there and fork it down to push it down there.
What do you mean?
Well, I had to get,
Oh, you mean to take it out again?
I had to, yeah, now that it's stored for the winter, now during the winter, you bring it all down, bring it over here, push it down. But it was all with a fork.
You did it all with a fork?
Yeah.
And did you load it onto a wagon then?
No, I just, when you down there, you were not, when you were the
Oh, I
cows.
see. When you were, this was for bedding and for feed. So
Yeah.
So you were basically storing all
It
the
was
animals'
storing here.
bedding and feed.
And then you'd gradually take it down
You
there.
weren't selling it. You weren't-
No, we didn't sell anything.
You would just take it down this door here
That's right.
to the animals down there. Now tell me about what that was like down there with the animals down there. We can't go down there.
Well, there was enough, as they call them stanchions, they locked their head, and there was room for probably 5 cows. We usually had 3. And then over this side were the horse stalls.
Yeah.
There were 3-4 horse stalls. We had 3 horses. But there was a place for calves, little calves that would grow up later on that would maybe butcher or it would grow into a cow.
Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, wow.
But that back section there,
So when you were taking care of the animals every day, you had to go into that lower section every day
oh yeah,
to make sure the animals
yeah.
were all right.
Now in here was the granary. We would store, there were bins in here that we put the wheat. When the wheat was threshed, it was carried in here and the bags emptied and just be filled up real high with wheat grain or corn or oats. There was 3 different, but
They were in bags, like 100-pound
they
bags
were
or
in
something?
bags when we bring them in here with a buggy, and we'd emptied in there, and it was all a whole pile of loose.
Oh, loose.
Oh, it was all loose grain in there.
And that again was to feed the
Then
animals.
when you feed the animal, you come here with buckets and take the buckets and gradually we go down.
Wow, this is a beautiful
But
barn.
these
I
were
mean,
just
it's
planks laying up here.
constructed.
I could walk across up here
You didn't.
from that side. Yeah, it was boards, just loose boards across there.
And this was back in the 1940s.
1940s, yeah. But this was all, both sides, hay, straw. So in the wintertime, during the summer, when we harvested the wheat, they put it on shocks. And we would bring loads of shocked wheat on whole loads of wagon loads, and we would pile it full with the shocks of wheat.
Right.
Then later on in the season, our neighbor had a threshing machine. It backed a threshing machine in here, and we would thresh it. He had a tractor that pulley and ran his
So you
threshing
threshed
machine.
it right here in the
So
middle of the
these-
barn.
Yeah, we stand up there and throw with the fork. We throw the bundles of grain, whatever it was,
Right.
usually wheat, into the threshing machine, and they would go through it. So you kept feeding that, and it was a dirty job because it would blow. Then it would blow the straw in the other part,
Right.
you know.
Right. So you climbed that ladder too
Oh
there.
yeah, you had to climb that.
You had to climb just to
yeah.
kind of rearrange the piles.
Well, you had to,
Or to get the
to get up to the top of the pile because it was piled up that high.
right. So I was wondering why those ladders were for, but that
Oh,
makes
yeah, that was to
that makes sense that that's the way
Yeah,
that you.
because it was full of
Oh
hay
my
and
gosh.
straw.
Wouldn't it be great to have a picture of what that looked like? How this whole barn just filled with hay and straw.
Mm-hmm.
Did you needed all that for the
You
3
need it for all
horses and-
winter long.
Oh my gosh.
And same with the wheat and the corn stored in there, and the grain.
Right.
The grain.
And did they? Well, I guess the horses didn't come out much in the winter, and neither did the cow, right?
No, but you try to exercise them because in the summer, when spring came, now you had to break the horses into pulling. You couldn't just take them right out and pull a plow because they were
Oh.
standing around all winter.
You didn't take them out to exercise
Well,
at
you
all?
did. You tried to
Aw.
exercise with them. Yeah.
But they're pretty much
But
like
we rode the
caged up,
horses, too.
caged up all winter,
We
right?
would ride the horses for sport.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Down to
But
Neffs
yeah,
Park.
the cows we would tie out. We would tie the cows out so we'd eat some of the grass in the meadows. We'd hammer a stake in and have a chain
Yeah.
or a rope, and the cow would just clean out a whole circle of grass all around as far as he could reach.
So who helped? I mean, you had 4 sisters,
I had 4 sisters, and they all had to help.
and they all helped
They all
milk the
helped.
cow.
They all helped.
They helped. Did you? What did you have to do for the horses? Did you have to? Well, you had to shovel the manure.
I had to shovel the
yeah,
manure,
yeah.
put straw there, and in
Yeah.
the wintertime, we didn't haul the manure away because there's nowhere to put it on the fields.
Right.
We keep putting straw in, and the horses would be getting higher and higher as this built up.
Yeah.
And they'd finally hit their head up and
Wow. Let's go look in this door over here.
Well, that
Does
would be
this
part
look,
of
does
it.
this look like the same flooring?
Yeah, that's the same floor. Yeah, this was all part of it. This was all closed. There was nothing in here. This would be all part of the straw.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a trap door. What was that for?
Well, we didn't have a trapdoor there. They probably put it there.
Oh. So
I don't
this
know
this
what's
is
that.
just another part of the barn, actually. They added this flooring up there.
Yeah, they had that floor in.
Yeah, and you know what? We were here the other day, parked in your parking lot, and hope you don't mind. We looked at the
No, not at
cornerstone or the date stone, and we
Is there
think,
one?
yes.
Where is it?
I have this theory that the date stone, the one date stone is from the original foundation, which could be quite old because the barn burned down in 35. We
And I
think
saw it
1935.
from the house. up
You
on the hill.
saw it burn?
I
saw it burn?
saw it burning. I can remember as a little kid. It was everybody was all excited, and the barn was burning. I think lightning hit it. And I also remember another barn burning. Well, while I lived here, there was smoke coming over the hill, and there was the Kohler farm. Their barn. I walked up in the hill as a 10-year-old kid and seeing this barn burning. You know. But
So,
yeah. I saw 2 barns burn within.
Wow. And is it true that the horses died in the fire?
I don't know. I don't remember that. When that
Grandfather.
happened, then that's when my grandmother moved to a new house, little house over towards the Neffs Park there, and then we got the farm. But my dad had to build this barn. Well, I can't believe that we had all this straw in here.
Yeah, so
Good
now we're
grief.
up on this upper level that you created. This floor was not
But this is
original.
all.
But here you can see the ladder really good.
Yeah.
And Dad, you climbed all the way to the
I
top?
have to climb that one over there and look out the window. You know,
I
when
bet
you're,
you could see
when you're
far.
kids, you do dumb stuff. But you know those other ladders? I mean, every barn had that, it seemed.
In the
Those
barns.
big ladders.
Yeah, it was very utilitarian.
I was gonna say, no wonder people, when they take down a barn, they want the beams.
Yeah.
'Cause
These
it's-
beams are big. I mean, you think, 1935, there wouldn't be some big trees left to make those kind of beams, but those are really
it's a
impressive.
shame you can't climb
And
that.
look, they've got pegs in them. Dad, did you know they have pegs in them?
Yeah, that's what they did. That was pretty normal. Looks like this one's missing.
Yeah, but they're still doing that in 1935. That's,
Yeah,
Yeah, the pigs.
yeah, it's awful
wow,
dusty up here.
that's
a lot of-
cool.
You can make an apartment up here.
Yeah, for sure. Our office is downstairs, but
Okay.
they'll do what they want.
Well, I retired from Air Products when I was
Oh, did ya?
I was 64. But then I worked till I was 83, part-time.
This guy doesn't quit.
I was 83 when I quit my.
And there he goes down the stairs.
Yeah, I'll just,
I want to be like him when I'm 91.
I'll tell you.
He's pretty amazing.
It's unbelievable. He's the farm boy. He's doing what we used to.
So that's what it looks like. Oh my goodness.
Johnny, you got something.
Not much up there, is there?
It's not back in there, is it? John.
We're looking for the hay hook.
Maybe we just put it
There's still a rope up there. You see that?
Yeah, the rope and the pulley is still.
What is that, Jed? That's too small for
Well, no, that's the pulley it would have hooked to.
That's where, yeah, that's kind of where when it hit that, and then it went out the track.
I don't know why we would've gotten rid of it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll describe this.
And we have boxes up there.
That wasn't there.
That wasn't here?
No, that wasn't there.
Oh.
I think I see the remains of the cistern. You see that? You see that wall back there?
That's the cistern.
That's the cistern.
Yeah, we knew that.
Okay. Now that cistern would be filled from the barn roof. The spouting
Oh.
went over there to fill that.
Oh.
But if we didn't have rain, see now that
go empty.
that cistern fed our house years ago. In other words, it it went under the street. It used to be dirt road years ago, but they had it piped under the street into the house, and there was enough pressure there without a pump that it would push the water to the second story.
Wow.
But it was poor pressure, but you could take baths and everything.
Wow.
So they
Till
indoor
we got
plumbing in the 30s and 40s. Yeah.
You know it.
I was told that if it would go dry, they were hooked up to the spring house, and the pump in the house that they later on had a pump, they could pump it from the spring up into the cistern to fill that up again,
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, there's a creek out the back here. So is that what would fill it up?
well, the spouting would fill it up.
Oh.
The rain, every time it rained.
No, but I mean the spring house.
The spring house, yeah.
Was there a spring in there?
Oh yeah, there's a spring.
Yeah,
house.
down at the corner.
Just
At the corner there's...
well, not the corner, not down that
Well,
far.
it wasn't quite at the corner, but it was
But
next to the
if
house.
you know where
in
the house
corner.
was, it was down the yard from the house.
right there.
Yeah. So it was just the spring house was
Yeah.
down in there, and that spring fed into Fells Creek.
Oh.
See, that's Fells Creek coming that way, and Fells Creek coming this way,
Well, yeah, that's
and then
right.
they met on the property there somewhere. Up here, that building doesn't fit in
here.
right. There was a shed. We had a shed where and it was kind of built into the wall was built into the hill here, but it was open. I mean, it was a shed where we kept equipment in, extra equipment like the grain drillers and things like that. And built next to it was the corn crib. It was attached to this shed, and you had to turn it by hand with a big iron wheel. I had to grind the corn when it was all corn. It was all filled with corn, that corn crib. And then I have to grind with the grinder enough for the chickens for the day.
No.
Yeah. Somewhere in here was the pig stable.
Oh, we had pigs.
The pig stable and the pig pen. It was just over in here somewhere.
Where'd you have the chickens? Where were
Behind the
chickens?
pig pen was a chicken coop.
Oh. So
And
right
on-
where we're standing.
And
was
on
the-
top of the pig pen, was the second story, was a chicken pen.
Oh.
And I had to scrape those floors and clean them. And in back of the pig pen was an outdoor fenced off where the pigs would be outside. They could go in their building or go outside. That wall.
Here.
is
So
on
this was
side of
this
wall.
was the cistern, Dad, right here.
It could be the
Yes,
system.
it is.
Oh, there's the lid to
Yep.
it. Yeah, there's the lid
Oh
to it.
yeah, you could see the lid over there.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, boy, that goes
My
back.
dad would have to go in there and when it was low, he could clean it out so it'd be over here.
Oh.
That was part of that shed. And then,
What part of what shed?
well, there was a storage shed,
Oh.
and then attached to it was the corn crib. It would be about here too, but then over here was a pig stable. The pig stable with the chicken, and then we had a garden down there. The whole thing was garden around here. In here somewhere was another shed across from the house, and that was the equipment shed. And I remember we'd scrape the pigs when we were butchering the pigs. They had a big trough, hot water, and amazing.
It's so neat to see this and imagine, you know, 80 years ago what it was like here.
Oh my word, we worked
A
hard.
true organic farm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you made your own
But
food and
Let's see, the house must have been right in there somewhere.
yeah, right
Yeah,
where, yeah,
right there.
uh-huh.
I remember it.
So then there was the house, there was the wash stand, we had the big iron with the kettles in the butcher. The big iron where you put hot water and the oven, the cast iron oven. We burned the wood in there. So there was a shed that was pretty close to the road. And then my dad drove school bus. So he parked the school bus in that shed too. But next to it was another shed where we had the binder. You didn't use a binder much of the year. So that binder sat in that building for, all winter long. And it was a binder that would cut the wheat on shocks, tied it would tie it with string automatically, and then we'd put those shocks when you'd be in the field using that piece of equipment. We would put the shocks and let them out in the field to dry longer. They'd be out there maybe a month. Cap it with part of the shock for part of the wheat. Then later on, like the wheat, we'd fork that onto the big hay wagon and take it in, put it in the barn. That pile up, it got higher and higher and higher. Then in the winter time, or when we had time, we would get the neighbor, he had a threshing machine, and thresh it all up. And the corn, when that was on bundles, later on we'd come around with the wagon and horses, and we'd spread this out, and we'd sit there with our little tools to peel the corn, peel it, and then throw the cob on the wagon, peel it, throw it on the wagon. It was
A lot of work.
It was all work. And my sisters, they got used to that.
And you have no arthritis.
No.
Let's go over to where just walk under here. Does that look the same there, like the way that's cut out there?
Oh yeah, that's how it was.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Did they own all the land around?
50 acres,
50?
yeah. It was around a 50-acre farm. Well, they had land up by Cobbler Road, the upper part above
here?
above the schoolhouse. So
Straight up
Did
the
you go to that schoolhouse?
No, my dad did. He had to learn English there. They couldn't speak English. They were German. Pennsylvania Dutch.
I'm German too. My parents.
Yeah.
Come on.
What was your
I was a
name?
Landenslegger.
You were Landschlager.
Schlocker. A lute player. She's the one that
Well, now, this is where the manure pile. This is where the manure pile was.
oh
Oh,
boy.
this is it.
In other words, in the wintertime, you didn't take it out with a manure spreader. You piled it here till spring came. So the cows were in there. When I'd come out that door, well, I'd have to fork it up because there was a pit where they'd do their thing, and mixed with straw. Well, I have to fork it up in a wheelbarrow and wheel it out here and dump it on the pile here.
So it was pretty stinky here
Oh yeah. And then
78
over there,
years ago.
That's where the horses were. Here's where you go in. You were in front of the cows. That's where there was a pit. You would feed them. They were all facing this way, and the horses were facing back that way.
Were they happy to see you when you came in? Did the horses?
Oh, as a kid, I just go in there and sit on them, Yeah. But yeah, they were friendly.
But I bet there was a lot of.
Where were the cows?
The cows were over in here. But they were in stanchions that you'd close, the head would lock in.
It's like.
What's in this room here?
Oh, that's the cold cellar. What do they call it?
This was our potato cellar.
Oh, potato cellar.
This was our potato cellar.
I don't know if I can get it. He has that lock, but
That's okay. Now they make these
he has
potato
his
salads.
washer and dryer.
Look at this.
Woo! He
This-
has it packed with his. He's a drywaller.
So
So that's what he does for.
when we would bring
Ooh, it
the
smells.
horses in the wagon full of potatoes after picking them out in the potato fields. I mean, rolls and rolls of potatoes. I mean, we thought we'd never get picking potatoes. This thing would be filled with potatoes up. But we had bins where it wasn't all the way over here.
It was
But
kind
they
of
were-
organized.
It was. Now I don't know if the Albany's are
This
there
is
yet.
big down
But we
here.
used to unload the wagons with the potatoes outside. Now is there a hole there?
Yeah, I think there was holes.
So there was like one or two. They had three here. I think it was three. So you could pull up there and shovel the potatoes, and they'd fall through that hole there.
It kind of smells like potatoes in here,
It
doesn't it?
smells like a musty old.
Yeah. There's a hole here, and there's a hole there, and I think there's another one back. Yeah, there's three.
Okay.
You see those holes? That's where the potatoes would.
You mean that hole
There were
up
little
there?
doors outside of the barn. There were little doors you'd open up, and it was just a little opening there.
Oh, up in the ceiling.
Yeah. So
Look at that.
the
about
potatoes
that?
would shoot down here and fill this up. And this would be piled high with potatoes. Then in the wintertime, we would stand in this cold, my sisters and I, we would stand in here grading potatoes because they'd sell them to Philadelphia. Some trucker would come here and they'd bring 100-pound bags. But during the winter, that was our job, be in this cold place and run this grader. I would shovel them on, and my sister would be standing there, had to pick out the bad potatoes and all that, you know. And then it would come up, and there was a bag hanging here. You'd lock it in, and a bag hanging here. So when this was full, well, it could keep going. It could go in that bag. And then now you had to put this one on. Now you had to tie it up and drag this heavy 100-pound bag over. It was work. My sisters just hated it.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
But this is where we would work.
Are you the only son?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So you got the brunt
Four,
of the work.
four sisters.
Oh.
Anne, Catherine,
Yeah, see,
Trudy, and
Ann-
Lois.
Ann has a twin sister.
Oh my gosh. So you had a lot of work to
Oh
do.
my
as
And he was a
boy.
skinny little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He's still a skinny little guy.
Yeah, that's about all I can remember her now.
Oh.
But yeah, this is.
But you would have heard the sound of cows mooing and horses going.
Yeah. And this was always full of barn swallows. Boy, there's barn.
Well, that's why he put this wire up.
Oh, really?
Not barn squirrels anymore. The mourning doves.
A morning dove.
They were making.
Oh.
See the nest over here. They were
Yeah.
making that, and every time he'd come out the doors, he'd get too much.
Oh, no, they would
burnt
build nests.
food.
Barn swallows all over the place.
Yeah.
And they'd fly at you. And then
And flies. Tell me how many flies, Dad.
flies. In the house, we had flies. We would herd the flies. We would herd the flies out with the washcloths and stuff, and just a couple of us just go chewing the flies out. They had these string things and these
Sticky.
the sticky things hanging down. They'd be full of flies. You just had to learn to put up with it. But it's the manure pile that did it.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you a story how my sisters would wear the babushka? This is where they'd
yeah.
come out here with their bucket. And now they'd stand here and they'd look both ways to see none of the young boys would be driving by, and they'd run over to the house with this bucket. Now, we didn't have a refrigerator at first. So they would have to take the buckets to the spring house. And there was a chain hanging down where you'd hook it on, and the bucket would be hanging in the water to keep cool.
Oh.
So we didn't have a refrigerator. That's how you kept things cool in the spring house.
Huh. What were these? I don't know what was. You can see the green underneath the.
Yeah, this was green and yellow.
It was green
Yeah,
and yellow. I have
we have
pictures of it.
pictures.
And
It's
these were,
green and yellow.
these were
Our
doors.
daughter was just.
These were
little-
doors that there was top you could open, and the bottom you could open.
Is that what those were?
Yeah, well, yeah, is it underneath that?
I
Oh, I didn't know if they just covered that.
see. I don't know. They must have, and painted over it. Yeah.
See, I think it was a door
You
here.
wouldn't know
And
inside.
this wasn't in.
No.
So there was a
uh-uh.
door there, and there was a door here. This where you'd go up a step or so, and then the cows were facing in this way. And then further back is where the steps would come down. Well, I'd drag the hay or the straw and feed them. And the horses, you'd feed from there's a big manger that you'd fill up with hay.
You can see the hinges where the hinges still were.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Look at, here's
Yeah.
here's the hinges. Yeah.
It's still green underneath too.
Yeah, look at that.
Still the original. We painted over it.
Let's go look
Yeah.
at the date stone now. This
We
is
were-
so
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
There's more nesting. They nest in every single thing. Look at, they're even nested up in here.
Oh my word.
They were major nesters.
Yeah, we were the
This
people.
wall here?
That wall wasn't there that I thought it was a stone wall that was there.
Okay, we must have done that. Or maybe we stuccoed over it.
Yeah, I think there was a stone wall
This
there.
was here, right?
Yeah, this was always here.
Okay. Because
And-
we tried to keep that.
When the war was over in 1940, when the World War was over, I remember my sisters made a V for victory sign. They hung it from the middle here, red, white, and blue.
Aw.
Well, let's see if we can find that. See, when I told her, we were here the other day, when we were here,
A couple nights ago.
and I said, there's a stone right outside this corner here. Well, it's covered with stucco. And I thought it would be right here. So you don't remember if they covered it?
So you can't see it?
No, I can't see it.
Not here.
So we walk over here and we see we see this stone here.
Look at this.
You got a history.
It's possible. I'm
Jacob?
thinking now. This is
Jacob?
Jacob. I think this is
it
Jacob
Snyder?
Schneider. I think that is Jacob Schneider. Yeah.
And it says something up in here too.
That it says Norman.
You didn't know
That says Norman.
backward. Oh, Norman, yeah.
Is that your dad?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's his dad.
That's my dad.
That's his dad. But this lends credence to the theory because Ken Muth, who took apart that log house, he found the name, I believe it was the name Jacob Schneider, on a beam. So nice
right.
to meet you. Well,
So
now
nice
you
to meet
know
you.
some more Schnecks,
Yes.
and now you know the story of the Schneck barn.
Yes.
Again,
The
Ken.
reason why I make Jacob Schneider the original builder of this house, even though I haven't found any written history of him, was that I found his name written on a board when we took the center fireplace out.